What's up, customizers? Today I'm going to be showing you not one, not two, but actually 4 different colours I use on my 501st helmets. Let's go. So for these I'll be using some 3D printed helmets that I have. These are from DS Artworks and Jump's Patreon, the links will be in the description. Some of these look a little messy, but it's just some paint dust from a while ago. The primer will clear that up. As for the primer, I'll be using high coat white primer. This usually takes about 4 to 5 coats on 3D printed parts because they're darker than the whiter plastic in clones. After all coats have been applied and they're all dry, it's time to bring them inside for painting. First thing I'm going to do is get my wet palette ready. If you don't know how to make a wet palette, I've got a YouTube video covering this. The link will be in the description. I always like starting with all the black details of the helmet, so for this I use Vallejo black. As you'll see, my painting is very messy here, but don't worry, I'll be cleaning all this up later. I'm usually a little better when it comes to painting details like this, however with the camera in the way I have to paint much further away, making it a little more awkward for me, but nothing a little cleanup can't fix later. Now I like to paint all the grey details of the helmet, so for this I use Vallejo neutral grey. Next I'm going to use Vallejo white. I use this to clean up any mistakes so I can see the helmet much clearer when painting any colours or designs on the helmet. Now for the first type of blue, realistic 501st. This shade is what's on the 501st troopers in Revenge of the Sith. Some people mistakenly think that it's darker like the Clone Wars blue, however that's just due to lighting when storming the Jedi Temple at night. During the day scenes and in official renders, you can see them with this pale light blue coloration. The recipe calls for Vallejo flat blue, Vallejo white, and Vallejo neutral grey at a 60, 35 and 5 mix ratio. This paint mix is by Caminone Customs over on Instagram, and the custom mix works perfectly for me and any troopers I feel deserve to get the full Revenge of the Sith treatment. If you'd like to see a full build of a 501st trooper using this custom mix, I have a video on my channel. I'll put the link in the description. Blue number 2, Alaitoc. This is pretty straightforward with calling for Citadel Alaitoc blue. I was commissioned one time to use this blue for a Clone Wars Jet Trooper Red Iron mixer. After using it, I knew it would become a staple for my 501st. You see, some 501st in the Clone Wars like Mixer and Denal have a slightly darker blue, which I feel this matches really well. Number 3. Clone Wars 501st. For getting the blue to look similar to the Clone Wars animated show, I used Citadel Calidor Sky. The clones in the animated show often have a much more vibrant coloration than their realistic counterparts, and I feel Calidor Sky gives that effect pretty well. And number 4, Jessie 501st. Prussian Blue is the last colour I used for 501st members. I originally used it for making ARC Trooper Jessie many years ago, as his Season 7 appearance had such a dark tone to his blue armour, and I felt this worked really well to match it. Since then, I've used this on several other customs like Jet Troopers and Senate Commandos. I actually have a full build video on a 2005 Battlefront 2 Jet Trooper who uses this colour. The link for that video will be in the description. Now that all the main colours have been done on each helmet, it's time to fill in the missing details like the black brow bands and the ear caps. Next, I add a lot more water to Alaitoc blue and turn it into a wash. Then I brush it into the recessed areas of the helmet to create the vents. Once dried, I use a hobby knife to lightly scrape away the paint to make the digits of the vent stand out. Now using Vallejo white, I hand paint weathering to replicate paint chipping similar to Revenge of the Sith renders. And I do the same with Vallejo black as carbon scoring. Like before with the Alaitoc blue, we're going to make a wash with Vallejo black and put it into any recessed areas. Now here's all 4 helmets fully painted and weathered. Here I've taken them all back outside for a final clear coat with plaster coat clear matte. And once they're fully dried, it's time to bring them back inside. Here I'm using an old dedicated brush to varnishing the visors. It's important to dedicate one thin brush to this, as the varnish can damage your brush and will no longer be useful for anything other than this step. And Vallejo gloss varnish is what we'll be using to make those visors nice and shiny. Now here's what the helmets look like after their visors are fully dried. Well, I hope this video has been somewhat useful for some people in making the Grand Army of the Republic a little more accurate to your desired look. Let me know in the comments which clone helmet design is your all-time favourite. If you'd like to see more videos like this but with other legions, like the video so I know to make more. Well, that's all from me in this video, and happy customizing.